Good morning, everyone. Hey, Raj, how you doing, brother? Hey, Petra, how are you? Well, oh, you're at work. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday, the 25th of June, as we barrel into month end with yet another short position built into or baked into these markets. And I said yesterday at the close, I said, look for the market to try and ease off a little bit so the shorts could do some covering. And I guess someone was listening because right where those single prints are is where the low is. And the short stepped in to cover. So these little areas here are very clear areas where the shorts are trapped. That's where you can get good information from market profile. There's a couple of things about market profile. I'll give you guys a little market profile primer. And because I see those things, one is these things called single prints, and that's a single line of letters between distributions. So what it does is there's a distribution here, a distribution here, and a distribution here. And they're separated by two sets of single prints. Okay? The single prints show on the way up, they show where the shorts are trapped. Okay? It's very it's very interesting and very effective to be able to know a little bit about market profile. You don't have to dive into it too much, but that's the one big thing about it. The other thing is it tells you poor lows and poor highs tell you that there's competitive buying here and competitive selling here. Those are the two massive points about market profile that make it very, very useful. It's very hard to trade off of it, but it's like a map of a city, right? So if you're going to go do business in a specific neighborhood, it's good to know if that neighborhood, where the borders of that neighborhood are, and where you're going to get into trouble, where you're safe, where you should do business, where you shouldn't. And market profile does that. You don't have to be an expert, but there's a couple of things. So one thing is those single prints, right? So yesterday we had a short position here. Where's the low? Right where the shorts are trapped. Pretty simple, right? The other thing it tells you is where there's competitive selling and where there's competitive buying. This is what we call a boxed market. The market is boxed because traders are caught short, so they're buying here and they're selling here to try and keep it down. If it pops, you'll see a move like that. If we finally get some liquidation, we'll come down, and I bet you that they'll be buying here at 61.32. Okay, because the profile will tell you from the transactions where traders are trapped. So single prints, poor lows and highs. And number three is market profile tells you where your inventory is priced. So yesterday's inventory, 70% of it is priced here, right? The overnight is right in the middle of that area, right? So the overnight trading session has not taken out yesterday's high or the low, and it's in what they call Market profile traders call this the value area. I call it the cost basis because it just tells you where stuff is priced at. So if you know, this is really handy, if you know that a market is trading where it was priced yesterday, then there's really no change, right? So do you know how traders, they're always shorting the hell of a market thinking it's going to do this, or buying the hell out of the market thinking it's going to break out? This way the market really tells you right away, hey, psst, business hasn't changed since yesterday. So just chill out and trade the edges of this. Does that make sense? Right? A trader, a retail trader, has no clue what the order flow is going to be. Right? They don't even know what inventory is. So if you know that the inventory is trading at the same price as it was yesterday, then why would you expect a huge breakout this way or that way? If it's just business as usual, then can you manage your expectations and trade accordingly? Right? Because a lot of people have these really crazy ideas that one thing's going to happen or another thing's going to happen, but there's no basis in reality to back that up, unfortunately. Right? And then they get into trouble. They get short, they get long, gets out of hand, they don't know how to handle it. So that's one of the basic things, the three basic things about market profile that you need to know. You don't have to, the books are great, but I tell you, sometimes too much information can be a problem, okay? And when you've got way too much information, all it does is just keeps you upside down and you can't execute, right? Very, very simple stuff, right? Really simple, right? So it's business as usual, trade the edges of this, right? And let's go take a look. So this is a closer look, right? And it shows you there's the poor high, there's the poor low. Hey, Tampa, how you doing? Good to see you. Was there a SpaceX launch? Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So now what we can use profile for is to tell us, and if you don't have profile, not a big deal, right? You can get the same information, takes a little longer with single prints and poor highs and poor lows, but you can still use a candle chart to tell you where the inventory is priced, right? So right now, and you can also use a half-hour candle chart to tell you where the stops are. So they're just at the top and the bottom of every half-hour candle, right? The longer the length of the candle, say it's a half hour, 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour candle, the more people will be using those stops, right? As time goes by, more people will use that area as a stop. So if I was short tonight, my stop would be here, right? If I was long, my stop would be here, if I'm a larger trader, right? And at the half hour is where the folks like us would put our stops, right? So that helps that way, right? The overnight cost basis is here. We're trying to distribute it here. Yesterday's cost basis is here. So as you can see, we are business as usual, right? There's really no big change to the business from yesterday yet, right? Now, tomorrow is month end. The shorts are trapped here, and these are those single prints I was talking about. You see? See where those single prints are? That's exactly where the overnight low is. As they say in France, quelle surprise, right? Hey Dan, how you doing? Right? Now, looking at this profile really quickly, You've got a high of 61.49 and 3/4 and a low of 38 and a quarter. Automatically, you know that you should not be over trading this market tonight, right? It's a tight range, right? Now, if we go and look at the 1 minute chart, bet you anything it's going to be choppy. Look at that. So we have barcode charts, right? That's untradeable, that's untradeable, that's untradeable, right? So you really have to trade from the outside edge in, outside edge in. And it's hard. So you're going to trade less. So as soon as you see things like that, you can relax. When you see a choppy, tight, hard to trade market, you shouldn't try. You ever see people like when they don't have a can opener, they're trying to open up a can with a knife and they're trying to pry it open and it's just not going well? That's what retail traders are like when they're over trading a market that's untradeable, right? It's it it's almost painful to watch them because they're I'm long, I'm short, I'm long, I'm short. I got stopped out. I got stopped out. I got stopped out, right? So immediately before you even do your balance zones or anything, if you see the half hour periods are only 4 points, 5 points, right? You can just relax, right? So the thing about retail trading is everyone's always so hyped up and keyed up and they don't know how to relax. If you could relax, then when the actual trade opportunity comes, you're going to be able to take it. And you won't have worn yourself out from, trying to punch a brick wall. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand what I'm getting at? Knowing when to do business, right? Because if you don't know when to do business, how can you do good business, right? It's impossible. You're always going to be trading at the wrong time, right? So, does that make sense? Anyone? Bueller? Who's had their coffee this morning? No one? You guys still having their coffee? All right. Good. Good. Right? Knowing when to trade, right? They never teach you when to trade. They teach you setups, they teach you all this stuff, but they don't tell you what the chart's telling you. And this is what I'm really on about. My whole thing this month has been, please let the chart tell you what's going on, right? If the chart tells you, hey, take it easy, don't trade this, right? Just relax. Because opportunity, and when you're nice and relaxed, then you can see things, right? So the second thing we do is we go and we do our balance zones, right? So what I'm doing is I looked at this high, right? Then I looked at these lows. And then when we couldn't get any lower than that, we went right back to that high. Do you see that? So I'm going to use that as my balance zone. That's where my cost basis is. Make sense? Right? I'm looking for two-sided trade, right? The sellers initiate up here at 46 quarter, and when it looks above 46 quarter, it comes down there. And when it can't get any lower, it goes right back to 46 quarter, right? Then what I do is you just simply double it to the upside, and that gives us some sort of an idea of when you take your product and you put it on, you sell it, it helps you see where your potential targets are. And then to the downside, we've got, this is our discount zone, And I do the same thing every day, right? If you have the same procedure every day, it will really, really help you not get thrown, right? See, these are the kind of places where you don't want to trade. Like you see this right here, right? That kind of stuff is very hard to trade. That's like a barcode on a box of cereal, right? That's right. This kind of thing. This is soul destroying for a retail trader. This is where you lose all your money getting stopped out, right? And the reason, right? Same with this, right? When you see stuff like this, you should just be able to say, oh, business is slow. Business is very slow. There's not a lot of customers coming in. So when you know that, then you don't overtrade, right? You don't chew up commissions. I always set my VWAP at, that's the Globex Open for me, 2300 hours, which is 11 o'clock UK time, which is 6 p.m. your time in New York. So I anchor my VWAP there. See, it's so choppy. So once you walk through the profile, I do everything manually every day. So I know where my levels are, right? Now I've got everything set. All I got to do is sit and watch and wait for an opportunity, right? There's sellers here. See? Now the sellers have gone and moved lower to here, right? When they get to 61.46, they stop selling. So now you're set, right? You've gone and done all your setup. You're ready for the day. So you can relax. There is no volume at all this morning. There's 30,000 contracts, Jerry. There's a reason. Right? What's the reason? Let's go take a look. Let's zoom out. Anything kind of stick out like a sore thumb? Exactly. Right? So there's a gap. That equals short position. Right? And tomorrow is month end. Okay? So now pretend that you run a lot of money and you are a large trader. If you saw a market that gapped up like this and there's a big short position holding the market up, now would you go and would you buy 5,000, 10,000 contracts here to go long? Hey John, how you doing? Right? If you knew that the market is kind of sketchy, right? Right? If you knew that it's kind of built on stilts, right? Let's say you went to buy a house, right? And the house was on stilts and there's four stilts and one of them was missing. So the house is standing on three stilts. Would you buy it knowing that it could fall down? I hope not, right? Any large trader is not going to initiate a massive position before the end of the month. That does not make business sense, right? Also, they are not going to initiate a massive long position when they see a big gap like that. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? Does this stuff make sense to you? Does the common sense part of it, is that sort of seeping in? Now, if you're sitting there looking for a trade, it's not going to sink in, right? You're just going to be going, where's the trade? Where's the trade? Where's the trade, right? You know, if it sinks in, then it's good because now you're going to start operating intelligently, right? Trading is a business. You want to make smart business decisions. That's why words like FOMO and tilt and revenge trading, all of that stuff should be outlawed, right? That should not even be brought up in business, right? Because it has no place. We're in a place where people are trying to make intelligent business decisions based on fact. Where do things like FOMO and tilt come into play? Basically, that's the lack of discipline of the person who's doing business, right? So now you know nothing's going on. Your brain relaxes, you don't trade. You don't trade, you don't lose money. You don't lose money, you're happy, you're calm, right? Now, you shouldn't be upset that there is no trade because you know that tomorrow is month end. The market's jammed on a short position, right? And the overnight profile, right? What's going on with the overnight profile? You know when you're playing basketball and the basketball gets stuck between the hoop and the backboard? That's exactly what's going on, right? Yeah, so Moran's playing with her dog. Smart. Relax. Take it easy, right? Let's see if London can shake loose any inventory, right? And when it does, I mean, look how slow it's moving. The other thing you can do is you can open up a time and sales. Look, it's stopped. So the transactions in the market have stopped. There, it traded a little bit and stopped, right? This is like a speedometer in a car, right? You don't need to be able to read the tape. But if you open up a time and sales, it'll tell you how fast the market is moving. If the market is not moving, then does it not make sense that if you entered in a position that you're going to be stuck in that position for a while? Make sense? Simple? Right? All these concepts are simple and basic that even someone who's never traded before should be able to understand. Right? So that lack of movement here translates onto a chart when you actually show the chart. You see? You see that lack of movement is reflected here in the chart. Because this chart is nothing more. This chart and the chart on the left, all they are the transactions. They are these transactions represented in a graphical format. Right? I hope this helps you guys not lose money. right? Because here's the little secret. The trick and secret to longevity in this business is to not lose money every day. Some days you're not going to make money. And you have to understand that. You're just not going to make anything, right? Because that's how business is. On my Sierra chart, yes, my Sierra chart setups are available in the room. My chart books are available. I don't, then they're free. You just download them, right? So this is one of the biggest concepts that I teach at the Trading Syndicate. And once again, I invite you guys to come join us. Those watching on YouTube, use the discount code, get 25% off. It's like 50 cents a day, right? And you're not going to find this knowledge anywhere else, right? People are going to tell you to use moving averages and do this and risk reward ratios and there's nothing wrong with that other than it doesn't make you any money. And it doesn't save you any money when you're getting stopped out every 10 seconds, right? Level 2 data is a waste of money, Adam. Level 2 data is only useful if you're a large trader and you're manipulating the order book to see how other traders react to your manipulations. Does that make sense? Like even for stock trading, you don't need level 2. Because here's the thing, no trader in his right mind is going to show you what they're going to do before they do it. That would be career suicide. Right? All you need to scalp is a 1-minute chart. The ability to draw a straight line, the ability to pay attention. That's really all you need. And then practice your execution. Right? So you know your software really well, so your hand-eye coordination is good. And always, always, always think, what is the business reason that I'm taking this trade? Even if you're a scalper. If you're scalping long, you see a quick move up because there's a lack of supply. If you're scalping short, it's because you see competitive selling and the price is being put on sale. There's no other reason to take a trade, right? Either there's no supply, you're long, too much supply, you're short, right? Everything else is meant to distract you. Let's see if we can take out the bottom of these two little candles here. See right here? Let's see if we can take those out and come down to the close, right? It's a snooze fest. I knew it was going to be slow tonight, but I didn't think it was going to be this slow. Let's see. London's going to open a little bit, right? You were trying to find the workshop in the Discord room? Just message me. I'll help out, not a problem. Just message me in the Discord room, or did you? Because someone messaged me who joined the room. Yeah, just message me in the room. I'll help you out. Yeah, message me. I'm available. I'm always in there. I'll help you out. Don't worry about it. And that goes for anyone who joins the room. If you're having any kind of difficulty trying to find stuff, just drop me a message. Or in the general chat, go, hey, VWAP trader, I need some help. There we go. Finally, a little liquidation. London is opening. I am in the UK. So right now it is 8 o'clock in the morning here. Yeah, no, I do one session at 7:30 in the morning UK time, which is 2:30 in the morning New York time. And then I do another session at 9 a.m. Eastern time, which is 2 p.m. here in London. And I'm considering doing a third session, but there doesn't seem to be any demand for it. A couple of people have asked for it, but when I say what time you want me to do it at and stuff like that, nobody answers. So I've kind of shelved that for a while. No sense doing a session if nobody shows up. Good for you. Got to get your sleep, Moran. See, this is really not tradable, right? You go long, you get stopped out. You go short, there's just no movement, right? There's no movement because there's no customers. When there's no customers, how can you move product, right? They'll say there's no order flow. Order flow is just a really fancy way of saying there's nobody in the store, right? So what I like to do, and what we do at the Trading Syndicate, is we try and simplify this and cut through all the mumbo jumbo. We don't talk about gamma levels and Velcro walls and all that nonsense that people talk about. We're like, where are the buyers? Where are the sellers? And can we make some money? Right now, we can't make any money. Just chill out, right? Right? There'll be a time and a place. Now, if the market was a normal market tonight, if we had more customers, a nice little trade is what we call the look below and fail. When the market looks below a level and fails, we'd look to go long here, put our stop underneath this level, and then because we know that there are sellers at 48, that would be our upper target. So that would be a trade that you would take if you had normal price action. And then you wouldn't have to sit in it for 3 hours, right? So you'd be buying 46 and a half, 46 and three quarter, right? If you want to use a little bit of a bigger stop, you could put your stop here at 45 and three quarters, right? 45 half if you want to let it work, right? So you're buying because the sell orders under 46 are finished. So what's the business reason for going long? The business reason to go long is that the sell orders that took the market under 46 and a quarter are complete. When those orders are complete, the market will rotate higher looking for sellers at a higher price. You grab some inventory, and as the market, right, gets the strength of the market, the move up is caused by a lack of supply, and you sell into that lack of supply, and you be the supplier, right? You don't take it right now because it's choppy and it's going to stall out, right? And it might do this, right, which is going to drive you nuts, right? Watch the offer, that red line, as it lifts, it means that the sellers have seen buyers. How do you know if there's buying in a market? You watch the offer. The offer will lift. And when the offer lifts, you sell into it. You are the supply, right? You be the supply. You know that there's going to be sellers here. You know there's going to be sellers here. That's how you can get out of your trade. right? See? Sellers here, sellers here, sellers here. A free range run like a free range chicken? Um, Yesterday was a short squeeze because the sellers, right? So who are the sellers? The sellers are large traders, right? Large position traders. So if you're position long, Batfrog, right? You're probably managing money for other people, right? So at the end of the month, you want to show that you made the money. So all you got to do is not sell. Market goes up, shorts push the market up, you look like a hero. Next month, your clients give you more money. See? OPM runs this business. OPM is other people's money, right? As long as asset prices keep getting marked up, you as a portfolio manager look very smart. And people will open up their wallets if you make them a return. Get it? It's the end of the month and the end of the quarter, right? This is a performance-based industry, right? This is a performance-based industry. Nobody works for the salary. Everybody works for the bonus. Everybody works for, you know, it's a performance-based industry. You get paid. It's eat what you kill, right? So we have a couple of things going on. Tomorrow is month end. Friday is the last trading day of the month. And what's next week? The 4th of July. So expect next week to be slow as well. Okay? We go back down to VWAP, right? I would assume if you are a large manager, large portfolio manager, probably want to take, I'd be gone right now, right? I'd come back after the 4th, right? Couple of weeks off now. How do we differentiate if it was shorts just locking in or profit in order to short again? What do you mean, yesterday or right now? Sorry, Andre, I don't understand the question. If the market's up 60 points, how do the shorts lock in profit? If you're short at $5 and the market gaps up to 8, how do you lock in profit? Okay, I'm just kind of confused. Yesterday, so your question, sorry, doesn't make any sense. Shorts were being squeezed. It's as obvious as the nose on your face. The first part of your question doesn't make any sense. Shorts lock in profit when markets go down, not when they go up. Does that make sense? They're out of the money now. So if you shorted at 5 and the market opened the next morning at 8 on a gap, how are you going to lock in profit? Just think about it. It doesn't make any sense. And that sort of stuff is what we help you figure out in our room, right? So you won't have all this confusion about that. The very simple, right? You probably pick that up in a trading room or you heard that from somebody, right? But it makes absolutely no sense in a business context. Yeah, that's exactly what they were doing. They were trying to buy it back and the price is going up. So how are you locking in profits? You're locking in losses? Doesn't make any sense, man. Think about it in a common sense way and then try and simplify what you're thinking about. Okay? You're like overcomplicating it, and I don't know where you're getting that stuff from. You guys pick up a lot of garbage information on the internet from videos, from Twitter, right? Markets are really simple, right? Wholesalers have stock or a stock of goods inventory, and they'd like to sell it at a profit. People who short in the cost basis are trapped and they go to cover. When they go to cover, prices go higher. So they're not locking in a profit when they're buying back to cover, right? They'll usually add, large traders will add and then try and trade themselves out of it. But you don't have to worry about all that. Because what's your goal, Andre? Your goal is to try and make money, right? So take that and throw it away and focus on your trading setup. See, when a lot of people come to me, they have all of this information in their head, but they're not making any money from it. So what we do is we clean that out, we vacuum all that out of your head, and we teach you how to make money, right? Like have a trade setup where if you see a type of business happening, right now, there's a look below and fail, right? So had we not been talking about shorts going upside down and all that, we would have bought a little bit at 46 and a half, put your stop under 46, and sell into that 47. If the range is bigger, that's a nicer trade. It's just very choppy and slow right now. Does that make sense? Focus on stuff like that. Don't focus on things like market makers or doing this and these guys are doing that, and that all that stuff just clogs your head up with useless information, right? I'm not trying to be mean, I'm trying to help you. Hope that makes sense. Don't waste your time trying to figure out what the shorts are doing. The shorts will tell you what they're doing. They're buying right here. Why? Because VWAP is here and their buy orders here. So the shorts are front running that buy order, and that's what's causing the market to go higher. That's information you can use. Get it? Does that make sense? Right? You want the information that you keep in your head when you're trading, you want it to be actionable. You want it to make common sense so you can use it to make money. Don't fall down rabbit holes of all sorts of stuff, right? It'll keep you from making money, right? Yeah, shorts come in when the market's lower, not when it's higher, Andre. Anyway, good luck to you. Anybody else have any questions? Are you seeing any downside right now, Batfrog? So you've got short sellers that are trapped in that gap, right? When you expect downside, you need to see evidence of it. Right now, I don't see evidence of sellers, right? Do you see sellers? I see them here. Everybody wants the market to fall apart, right? Everybody wants to be a big short seller because they saw the movie, right? But if you don't see evidence of selling, don't short the market, okay? So if you were shorting now, right? You know that there's sellers at 48. So if you were shorting, you see evidence of a seller. You would short, put your stop above that candle, and then put buy orders here to try and cover, right? It's simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it, right? What is your trade setup? How do you do business, right? Keep it simple, folks. Don't cloud your mind with about a bunch of garbage, okay? Where do I put my buy order? Why? Where do I put my stop? Why? What can I expect to make on this transaction? Why? If there is evidence that somebody is selling and pushing price down, maybe I should get out of my inventory, right? If I'm short and there's no evidence of selling, maybe I should cover, right? That's trading, right? People love to overcomplicate this stuff and argue and debate, but they're not making any money, right? Let them. You just focus on your setup, focus on when to do business, right? You know, you're not on CNBC, you know, you're not trying to make people, you know, invest in your fund. You're just trying to make a living, right? You're trying to make some money so you can improve your life. And that's what we teach you to do, what to do in our room, right? That's what we do in our room. Just and then we keep you from trading when it's choppy so you understand when not to do business, right? So if you're interested in learning how to trade, right, using some common sense, great. Jim Dalton's book is great. No, I haven't read it. I read his old stuff. I love Jim. He's been on our podcast. He's been in our trading room. He's a nice man. Yeah. Jim is the reason why, you know, I got into market profile because it made sense. But there's really 3 or 4 takeaways from market profile that are useful, right? I haven't had a chance to read his book, his new book. I hear it's good. I hear good things. Jim's a good guy. A lot of respect for him. Maybe if I get some time off, I'll have a chance to read. And right now, we're just trading between 46 and 48. Not much going on, right? So slow night in 7-Eleven. I love market profile, but I use the candles to trade. It's just much simpler. I used to trade solely on market profile a lot in 2016, a lot in 2017. Once the ranges started getting bigger, it started getting harder to trade just off market profile because it'd be like 20 points between stops, and you're like, that's just too much risk. It's hard to get really good trade location off of a market profile chart. I mean, it gives you good information, but you know, like I say, this is a map of the city, and then this is the map of the neighborhood that we're in. So you use both, right? And people always ask, do you have to have market profile if you're in our trading room? You don't. You don't at all. Just use the same concepts that guys like Dalton teach us, and we can extrapolate those concepts to candle charts. Yeah, he doesn't like being called a profile trader anymore. That's funny. And I don't think he's traded futures in a while. He trades options or something, doesn't he? If I remember correctly. How's he doing? We haven't spoken to Jim in a while. Hope he's doing well. Yeah. Well, folks, what else is going on? Oh, for those of you trading NVIDIA, it's above 144.78. Looking for that 149.60, just to go through a little equity breakdown before we leave you. Coin doing really well. See if it can get above that 343, 344 area. MSTR is just kind of stuck in this range. Um, Tesla backfilling off that big move higher that couple of days ago. Palantir. Going to run out of levels on Palantir soon. It's it's a monster. Happy for those who are long it. Microsoft, we're heading for 504. Meta looking for 724. Google, I don't ever pay attention to this stock. It's just kind of in balance. Amazon the same. And Crab Apple, I don't know what's going on with Apple. See you, Jerry. Have a good one. I don't think Apple's doing anything. Their VR headset was a flop. I remember, oh yeah, VRT. Sorry, I keep forgetting VRT, Phil. Um, I remember my girlfriend and I went to the Apple store. She wanted to look at the VR headset. And she, she's a surgeon. She can afford to buy it. And they're like, no, you got to make an appointment. I'm like, oh, you're not going to sell any of these. You got to make an appointment to look at a product? What is it, a Rolls Royce? Give me a break, right? VRT, Phil, you're back over 116. It's looking pretty good. Oh, yeah, the new issue, Circle. Sorry about that. CRCL. Now we're underneath 232 on Circle. Be looking for bids at that 206 level. We'll see what happens. Oh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if it's going to be this slow, I'm going to let you go a little early. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you guys. Come visit us at thetradingsyndicate.org. Be happy to answer your questions. If any of you are interested in some one-on-one mentoring, reach out to me too. I'm always available. Have a wonderful, wonderful morning. And do yourself a favor. Go to the gym, go to the beach, enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you at 9. Hopefully, we get some more customers in the store. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.